instead of just totally taking the guy off television.
Because when RVD came and signed the TNA contract, he made it known that he was basically retired, basically didn't want to come back, and it took a lot for him to come back. He comes back, they give him the title, and basically his body wasn't feeling up to, basically you take a few years off and you come back and your body's got to readjust to those bumps and that sort of thing. And basically, when he signed that TNA contract, he had agreed to work a certain amount of dates and then basically go and take a hiatus or a break and then come back, and that was part of the deal. So I understand what you're saying. Why give him the title if you had known that he was going to leave? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But it's just, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Think we'll see him back?
Oh yeah, we'll definitely see him back. I mean, he's still got dates. He's still got lots of dates on his contract. So
I think he's supposed to be on one of the house shows coming up too, ain't he?
Well, he's scheduled for New York City and Philadelphia for that weekend, but I'm not sure that may be a case of advertising before he has taken this hiatus. You know what I mean? So be interesting to see if he comes back. I don't think he's confirmed that he's going to be there. So we'll have to wait and see. So back to No Surrender, we had Rhino and Abyss, Falls Count Anywhere. This is pretty good, man. They used weapons, everything, man. Basically destroyed the impact zone. They worked a few minutes through the back. They did the garbage can stuff. They did. You know what we didn't have? We didn't have the broken glass or the thumbtacks or the barbed wire. We did have Janice out there, but she wasn't used. So.
I like the spot in the middle of the match where they're fighting underneath the stage, and then Rhino popped back up from underneath the stage. Yeah. It reminded me of when the Shockmaster debuted in WCW.
The Shockmaster,
I swear, as soon as I seen that, I just started laughing.
If you guys haven't seen that video, go YouTube that. That is the most amazing fucking moment in professional wrestling. YouTube the Shockmaster in WCW. That's fucking amazing.
Greatest in the world.
Awesome. So I mean, basically, this was your hardcore, anything goes, no holds barred. That, like we said. We got a text message coming in.
I thought this was a pretty solid brawl, and I thought I thought Rhino looked really good considering he hasn't wrestled much lately.
Hey, my sister is locked outside with a.
Alright, go hit it up. I'll run down the next match.
No, I got a buddy here. He's gonna go get that. I think they got one. Thank you, buddy. Okay, I'm back. My sister's locked outside the house, apparently. But I got a buddy sitting behind me, so we're good to go. Anyways.
Well, I thought, like I just said, dude, I thought Rhino put on a pretty good match considering, he hasn't wrestled in a while.
Yeah, this was good, man. I mean, if you're into, hardcore style matches, this had all your garbage cans, trash can lids, all that stuff. You know what I mean? So.
And the two other things I wanted to mention about this with Abyss, bro, is 10-10-10, man. He keeps building this up. They better be pretty friggin' important. And the other thing I really wanted to say was, Abyss is Ric Flair's engaged in war with Dixie Carter, and so is Abyss now. I mean, Dixie Carter's nice and all, bro, but me personally, I don't really want to see this chick on television all the time.
Yeah, well, listen, she's the president of the company. I mean, Vince McMahon in WWE is the president of the company, okay? Dixie Carter has never been introduced prior to this. She's been, I mean, they did the Sting thing a couple months ago where Sting pinned her up against the wall, but she's playing that role. I think it's good to have a company president, like a Vince McMahon. When Vince McMahon comes out in WWE, you're like, holy shit, there's Vince McMahon. In TNA, it's the same thing. Dixie Carter's going to come out. We just don't know. I mean, Dixie Carter is going to be an authority figure, and I think it's good. If you're going to have an authority figure, why not make it the president of the company?
See, I don't know. I can't take her seriously. I just can't take her seriously as president.
Like the people in the chat room that say Dixie Carter sucks, Dixie sucks. Why? Why does Dixie? Let me just ask you, why does Dixie suck? I mean, people get, and that's another thing. I think people can easily type these things. Dixie Carter sucks. Oh, the booking is horrible. Then write me a 2-hour show. Write me an Impact episode that is 2 hours long, and do it week after week after week after week. Okay? Do it, and see if you can do better. You know what I mean? Otherwise, shut up and watch the product, right?
Mm-hmm. I agree with you 100%. I don't think anybody could do better.
And nobody can. Nobody can. Some people think that they can, but nobody listening to this show could write a better TNA Impact than Vince.
Oh, I agree.
Nobody.
I agree. The only thing I will say about Dixie Carter, bad against her, man, is I just don't think she has a great mind for the business, for wrestling. Like, I mean, she's the owner and stuff. I just don't see her as being some, you know.
If it wasn't for Dixie Carter, we wouldn't be talking about TNA right now.
I agree 100%.
We wouldn't be running down TNA No Surrender right now. You know what I mean? We wouldn't. Okay, and let's say this. Let's say that TNA does go out of business, and all these people that say TNA sucks, so I want TNA to fail. Let's say TNA goes out of business, and then we're back to nothing but WWE.
I agree 100% that if it wasn't for her, that TNA would be down.
Is that what people want though? Is that what people want? Where we go back to nothing but WWE, and we don't even have a second option. Like, let's say that WWE gets stale and it's plain. And TNA is no longer around, and we don't have a second option, and we're stuck with WWE. That's not what we want. Competition is
great for business.
For business, we need competition.
Exactly, you nailed it.
We need competition in this business. So anybody that says that I wish TNA would fail or TNA goes out of business, Dixie sucks. You're free to say that. It's just we don't want to be stuck with one company that dominates, hey man, competition is great for business. So, and TNA is, it's the next closest thing to WCW back in the day. A lot of other people feel that, a 1.0 rating or a 1.1 rating, if you know anything about ratings just don't go from a 1.0 to a 1.5 to a 2.0 in 3 weeks.
Exactly. It takes time. It takes time, especially like I just said before. TNA is still a very young company. They're still building it up. So
right.
So it's not. I don't even think they'll be anywhere close to what everybody wants them to be, even in a year from now.
Hey, we had back to No Surrender. We had Samoa Joe and Jeff Jarrett against Kevin Nash and Sting. God, man, Samoa Joe and Jeff Jarrett tried their best, man. You have Nash and Sting, and Sting not so bad, but Kevin Nash is just a mess. This was, crowd was dead during this too, man. The crowd all night long just killed this pay-per-view. We had Tommy Dreamer and AJ Styles in an I Quit match. This was cool, man, and given Dreamer's past, basically, you're going to do an I Quit match. We know from Dreamer's past that basically it takes a lot to make that guy quit. The guy takes an ass whooping, you know what I mean? So, they did the angle with the fork, which was gruesome, man. They did that close-up shot where Abyss had the fork right on top. AJ Styles, that was an awesome visual, man.
Definitely. And you got to give a lot of props to AJ Styles in this one, because his selling was great, and especially in this hardcore style match where this isn't really in his comfort zone. I thought he did a great job in this match.
Right. Just an awesome way to end it, and it made it believable too, because Dreamer, like I said, Dreamer's past. The guy takes an ass whooping, and they did this angle where basically when you've got a fork in your eye, you've got to quit. He had no other choice, and that's where they went. So it was graphic, it was well done, and it made sense because Tommy Dreamer, it takes a lot to make him tap out. So then we had Kurt Angle and Jeff Hardy. This should have been the main event, but I can see why they didn't want to go that route with the multiple finishes that they did. Basically, they had a time limit draw here, 120 minutes.
Controversial booking.
Eric Bischoff comes out, consults with Dixie Carter. They say 5 more minutes. The 5 minutes expires. They say 5 more minutes. The 5 minutes expires. And then they were supposed to. God, that cut looks so weak on Kurt Angle.
Even after they wiped it off, it stopped bleeding.
They wiped it off, and it just looked like it was not. The blade job that Kurt did on himself was not very well done. So it was just like, wait a second. They did the UFC finish. The cut's too deep. Blah 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 blah. Just a really weak finish to a fantastic match. They worked 30 minutes, right? Because you had the 20-minute time limit draw, and then you had the 5 minute and 5 minutes. So you had 30 minutes. Just a great match, but it was just. The ending was just.
The ending sucked, but I gotta say one thing though. Jeff Hardy, I thought really stepped it up here, bro. I thought thought both the guys had a great match here, and I thought this was probably Jeff Hardy's best match ever in TNA.
Well, you've got Kurt and Jeff in there. I mean, you knew going in with Kurt and Jeff. You know, we had Kurt Angle suffered a rib injury. We posted, actually, Jeremy Borash put a photo up on Twitter, and then we put that on the website, so you guys probably saw that. It was
that guy's tough.
Yeah, man, and then he went out and worked a rematch last night, 30-minute rematch, man.
I couldn't believe that.
25 or 30 minutes, man. Last night, guy went out there and fucking did a rematch.
I didn't think there was any way in hell that they would, put it, Kurt Angle in the match last night, really.
Yeah, just crazy. Guys, get to our live chat room, www.WZROnline.com/chat, WZROnline.com/chat. Dizzy in the chat room says, great finish. What are you talking about? It would have been a great finish. It would have been okay, but the cut just wasn't believable. It was so weak. The blade job was so weakly done that it just was like, wait a minute, we just went 30 minutes. We've had the match restarted twice, and now we've got a tiny cut, and we're gonna end the match over that. So.
Now let me ask you this question, because I've been thinking about this, and I'm kind of wondering in my head. I don't know. This whole finish how they kind of went Jeff Hardy and Kurt Angle in the main event at the next pay-per-view.
Right.
This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they either want to put the strap on Angle or Hardy, and I think that the only reason is both of those guys in there is because they don't know about what's going to be happening with Jeff Hardy's court case. If it's off, I think they want to give the belt to him, but if he doesn't, they want to have that backup plan with Angle.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. Jeff Hardy's got court on Thursday of this week, so he'll be back in court. Who knows, man? He's been to court, 5-6 times, and
yeah, exactly.
He's had it delayed all this time, but basically he's going to court this Thursday, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. I believe the trial starts on Thursday, so if it starts on Thursday, we may get a verdict by sometime next week. It's possible, or they may delay it again. I mean, who knows? We'll have to wait and see what happens on Thursday. But nonetheless, he's in some deep shit, my man. North Carolina drug laws, they don't fuck around. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with him. Here we go. Main event of TNA No Surrender. I'm flying through here because I wanted to get through Monday Night Raw. Obviously, that's not going to happen with 7 minutes to go before the break. But in the main event of TNA No Surrender, we had D'Angelo Dinero, the Pope, against Mr. Anderson. The deal with this, man, is, you had a tough act to follow. You had Kurt Angle and Jeff Hardy, okay, which was a great 30-minute match that we just talked about. And then, you've got two guys. You've got the Pope and Mr. Anderson. I mean, they don't seem like main eventers. First of all, you had a dead crowd, okay?
Exactly. They're burnt out.
Yeah, they were burnt out. They were burnt out before the first match began. I don't know what was wrong with that crowd, man. I have no idea, but it just wasn't the normal Impact crowd. So basically, and then you had the follow-up Hardy Angle, and then you have two guys that are in the main event slot that, probably shouldn't be there. Well, I don't want to say that because both of these guys they've got to be there at some point. And this whole pay-per-view kind of seemed like a throwaway pay-per-view. We've got the next one is Bound for Glory. That's the big WrestleMania. So this was kind of like the throwaway pay-per-view. So maybe this was the right time to showcase two guys that are not quite there, not quite main eventers, but
two guys that want to get there.
Yeah, exactly. Two guys that eventually TNA wants to get there. So maybe this was the right time on a throwaway pay-per-view like this.